Dr. Geo Park rubbed his tired eyes. The clock on the wall showed 3:15 a.m. He had been staring at the same data for 6 hours. Everyone else had gone home, leaving him alone in the cold room full of screens and machines. The Korean Deep Space Observatory was quiet at night. Joe liked it that way. People talked too much. Numbers made more sense to him. He took a sip of cold coffee and looked again at the screen. Something was wrong with the data, or maybe something was right in a new way. 3 weeks ago, his equipment had picked up a strange signal from deep space. At first, he thought it was just noise. Space was full of random signals. But this one kept coming back. Always a little different, always a little clearer. "You're not random," Joe whispered to the screen. "What are you trying to say?" The pattern didn't match any known space object. Not a pulsar, not a quasar, not radio waves bouncing off planets. It came from the edge of the galaxy, from what should be empty space. But the strangest thing was how it changed. Each time Earth sent out its regular deep space signals, this thing sent back something new. Like it was answering. Like it was listening. Jiho printed the latest data and pinned it to his already crowded wall. Hundreds of papers covered it, showing how the signal had changed over weeks. He stepped back and looked at them all together. "It's learning," he said to the empty room. "It's learning our patterns." He reached for his phone, then stopped. Who would he call? His boss had already told him to drop it. "It's equipment failure, Park," Director Lee had said yesterday. "Focus on real work. The funding committee visits next month." Jiho looked again at his wall of data. He knew he wasn't wrong. Something out there was trying to talk to Earth. Something intelligent. He picked up his phone and called the one person who might believe him. The phone rang 5 times before a sleepy voice answered. "This better be important," said Do-Yeon Kim. "I need you at the observatory," Jiho said. "Today, not tomorrow. Today." "Professor Park, do you know what time it is?" "I know exactly what time it is. It's time you stopped teaching basic science to college kids and did real work again." There was a long pause. "Is this about your space noise?" Do-Yeon asked. "It's not noise. That's what I've been trying to tell everyone. It responds, Do-Yeon. It changes based on what we send out. Nothing natural does that." Another pause. Jiho could hear Do-Yeon sitting up in bed. "You're saying it's artificial? A signal from, what, aliens?" "I don't know what it is," Jiho said. "That's why I need you. Your pattern recognition skills are better than mine. Always have been. The university won't just let me leave in the middle of the term. I already talked to them. You can take a research sabbatical. I still have some pull there." Do-Yeon sighed. "You're really serious about this. More serious than I've ever been." Jiho looked back at his wall of data. The latest patterns seemed to pulse with life. "I'll be there by noon," Do-Yeon finally said. After hanging up, Jiho sat in the quiet room. The machines hummed around him. The stars shone on the screens. And somewhere, at the edge of everything humans could see, something was reaching out. He picked up the microphone connected to the deep space transmitter. This wasn't the official equipment. This was his own setup, one the director didn't know about. One that let him send his own messages out into the dark. "We hear you," he said simply. "We're listening." He sent the message out as a simple binary sequence, like the ones used in the earliest days of SETI. Then he waited. 3 hours later, as the sun rose outside, a new signal appeared on his screen. It was stronger than before, clearer. Jiho felt a chill run down his spine. He'd expected to wait days for a response, if one came at all. Whatever was out there in the void hadn't just heard him. It was reaching back. Do-Yeon Kim arrived at the observatory carrying one small bag. He hadn't packed much. He didn't think he would stay long. 3 days, he told Jiho as they walked through the quiet halls. "I'll give you 3 days to convince me this isn't just equipment failure." Jiho nodded. "I only need one." The main lab was cold, and filled with humming machines. Screens covered the walls, showing stars and space and lines of data. Jiho's desk was a mess of papers and coffee cups. "You still don't clean up," Do-hyun said with a small smile. "Too busy." Jiho pointed to a wall covered with printed papers. "This is it. 3 weeks of signals." Do-hyun stepped closer. Each paper showed a wave pattern, different from the last. He had studied patterns for years. His mind was good at seeing what others missed. "It changes," he said after a few minutes, "but not randomly." "Exactly." Joe slapped him on the back. "Each change comes after we send out our regular deep space signals, like it's responding." Do-hyun frowned. "Or like our signals are causing some kind of echo." "For 3 weeks? Always different. Always more complex." "Show me the equipment." Jiho led him to a side room. Inside was a setup that made Do-hyun raise his eyebrows. "This isn't standard observatory equipment. I built it myself," Jiho said. "The official channels are too official. Too many rules." Do-hyun shook his head. "You could lose your job. Some things are more important than jobs." They spent the rest of the day checking the equipment, looking for flaws. Do-hyun tested every part, but found nothing wrong. The signal was real. "I need to eat," Jiho said as evening came. "And shower. I've been here for 2 days straight." "Go home," Do-hyun said. "I'll watch things here." After Jiho left, Do-hyun sat alone with the machines. The signal appeared on screen every few hours, always a little different. He watched it come and go 3 times. Near midnight, he had an idea. He went to Jiho's special transmitter and looked at the controls. It wasn't hard to figure out. He typed in a simple math sequence. 2, 4, 6, 8. "Let's see if you're really listening," he said, and sent the signal into space. Then he waited. 1 hour, 2 hours, nothing. Do-hyun made coffee and stared at the empty screen. Maybe Jiho was wrong. Maybe it was all just. The screen lit up. A signal, stronger than before. Do-hyun rushed to the computer and ran the analysis program. The pattern appeared on screen, and he froze. The signal showed the same math sequence he had sent. 2, 4, 6, 8. But it didn't stop there. It continued. 10, 12, 14, 16. Then it changed to a new sequence. 3, 9, 27, 81. Do-hyun stared at the numbers. It wasn't just repeating his pattern. It was showing that it understood the pattern, then offering a new one. Like a conversation. With shaking hands, he sent back the next numbers in the new sequence. 243, 729. The response came faster this time. Only 30 minutes. It completed his sequence and offered another, more complex one. Do-hyun's phone rang, making him jump. It was Jiho. "How's it going?" Joe asked. "You need to come back. Now." "What happened?" Do-hyun looked at the screen, where new numbers kept appearing. "It's talking to us, Professor. I sent it a simple math pattern, and it answered. It's smart, Jiho. It understands math. And it's trying to teach us something new." Silence on the phone. "I'll be there in 20 minutes, Jiho said finally. After hanging up, Do-hyun looked back at the screen. The pattern had changed again. Now it wasn't just numbers. It seemed to be trying to create a new kind of language, using math as its base. He felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold room. Whatever this thing was, it wasn't just intelligent. It was learning, adapting, finding ways to reach across the stars to talk to humans. And it had just taken its first clear step toward true communication. "What are you?" Do-hyun whispered to the dancing pattern on the screen. To his shock, the pattern changed again, as if it had heard him. As if it was trying to answer his very question. The void was no longer silent. It was whispering back. Word spread quickly. By the end of the week, the Korean government knew about Jiho's unauthorized experiments. Men in dark suits came to the observatory. They asked many questions. They took many notes. 3 days later, Colonel Yoonji Choi arrived with a team of military scientists. "This facility is now under government supervision," she announced. Her face was stern, her uniform perfect. "All communications with the unknown entity must go through proper channels." Jiho stood his ground. "This is a scientific discovery, not a military one." "It's a matter of national security," said Yoonji. "Possibly global security." Do-hyun watched them argue. He understood both sides. The signal could be the greatest discovery in human history. It could also be a threat. Yoonji brought her own expert, Minji-kan, a young woman with quick eyes and quick fingers. She was the best cryptographer in the country. "I need all the data," Minji said, sitting at a computer. "Every signal, every response." They gave her everything. For 2 days, she barely moved from her spot. She typed, thought, typed more. No one disturbed her. On the 3rd day, she called them all to the main lab. "I think I have something," she said. Her voice was soft but excited. "The entity isn't just responding to our math. It's trying to build a language." She showed them her screen. It displayed a complex pattern of symbols. "Look here," she pointed. "When we send the concept of human, it sends back this pattern. When we send Earth, it sends this. It's creating symbols for our words." "Can we talk to it?" Yoonji asked. "I've built a basic translation program," Minji said. "Very basic, but we can try." They gathered around the main transmitter. Minji's program was ready. "What should we ask?" Do-hyun said. "Who are you?" Jiho said without hesitation. "That's what we need to know first." Minji typed the question into her program. It converted the words into the new symbol language they had been developing with the entity. She hit send. The wait was tense. 1 hour passed, then 2. The screen lit up. Symbols appeared, more complex than before. "It's responding," Minji said, her fingers flying over the keyboard. "My program is translating." Words appeared on the screen. "I am muydong. I am many. I am space between stars." "Myong," Minji said. "It means shadow or void in Korean." "How does it know Korean?" Yoonji demanded. "It doesn't," Minji explained. "My program translated its symbols into our language. It chose symbols that matched our concepts. The name is just how our system interpreted its self-identifier." Jiho stared at the screen. "Ask it where it is." Minji sent the question. The answer came faster this time. "I exist and what you see as empty. I fill the void. I am everywhere. Stars are not." "It's saying it exists in empty space," Do-hyun said. "That's impossible." "For a physical being," Jiho said quietly. "But what if it's not physical as we understand it?" Yoonji frowned. "Ask it how long it has known about us." The answer made them all step back. "I do teach Earth many CY sales. Listen long time. Now she used to speak. It's been watching us," Yoonji said. "For how long?" Minji sent the question. "Since first radio waves. Since humans first would spear to void." "That's over a century," Do-hyun said. "It's been listening to our broadcasts for 100 years. Why speak now?" Joe asked. They sent the question. The answer was quick but troubling. "Time short. Danger comes. Must speaking now." The room went silent. Yoonji stepped forward. "What danger?" she demanded. "Is it threatening us?" Minji typed quickly. The entity's response filled the screen. "Note in my danger. Stay our danger. Death light comes to Earth. I wish to help." "What does it mean?" Do-hyun asked. Minji kept typing, asking for clarification. The entity sent more symbols, which her program struggled to translate. "I think," Minji said slowly, "it's warning us about something coming from space, something that could harm Earth." "Can we trust it?" Yunji asked. Jiho looked at the screen where Mayong's words glowed. We've made first contact with an intelligence that exists in what we thought was empty space, he said. Whether we trust it or not, we need to listen to what it has to say. The entity sent one more message without being asked. Humans, body is ISP or to VOID long time. Now VOID W he. TV or back. Please listen. Within days, the small observatory became the center of world attention. Leaders from many countries arrived. Scientists came from every continent. They all wanted to talk to Mayong. Minji's translation program grew better every day. Mayong seemed eager to improve it, sending clearer symbols and correcting errors. Soon they could talk almost normally. In a large meeting room, Jiho explained what they had learned so far. Mayong has warned us about a serious threat, he said. A neutron star near our solar system is becoming unstable. He showed a map of space on the big screen. A bright dot blinked about 30 light years from Earth. When this star collapses, it will release a gamma-ray burst, a beam of radiation so powerful it could strip away Earth's atmosphere. The room filled with worried voices. How long do we have? Someone asked. According to Mayong, less than 1 year, Jiho said. More voices rose, some angry, some afraid. And we're supposed to just trust this thing? Asked an American general. How do we know it's telling the truth? Yunji stepped forward. We don't. Not yet. But our own space agencies are checking Mayong's information. So far, everything matches. Why would it warn us? Asked another person. What does it get from helping humans? No one had a good answer. Later that day, Jiho, Do-hyun, Minji, and Yunji met privately with Mayong. Minji typed their most important question. Why do you want to help us? Mayong's answer came quickly. Humans, rare in human IVRC. Few species, reach your level. Fewer, heavy your species traits. What traits? Joe asked. You combine logic and feeling, science and art, reason and empathy. This combination precious, worth saving. Yunji frowned. It's saying we're special because we have emotions. Not just emotions, Do-hyun said. Empathy. The ability to understand others' feelings. Maybe that's rare in the universe. Or maybe it's lying to make us trust it, Yunji said. That night, Minji stayed late, working on the translation program. Something about Mayong's communications bothered her. There were patterns under the surface, things the entity wasn't saying directly. She ran a new analysis on all their conversations. The computer worked for hours. When the results appeared, she stared at the screen. That can't be right, she whispered. She called the others. They came quickly, still in their sleek clothes. Look at this, she said, pointing to her screen. There's a hidden pattern in Mayong's signals. Data embedded in the main message. What kind of data? Yunji asked. I don't know yet, but it's there in every communication, growing more complex. Mayong is sending us something it's not telling us about. Can you decode it? Joe asked. I'm trying, but it's like nothing I've seen before. Yunji's face hardened. I knew we couldn't trust it. It's hiding something, or trying to give us information in a way we're not ready to understand yet, Do-hyun argued. We need to ask it directly, Jiho said. They sent a message to Mayong, asking about the hidden data. For hours, there was no response. They waited, tense and worried. Finally, the screen lit up with Mayong's answer. Hidden data is GIFT. Knowledge your minds, not ready to process directly. CED they to will in time. That's not good enough, Yunji said. What knowledge? Mayong's next message was longer. To save Earth from gamma ray, you need technology you do not AAV. Hidden data, Kuontains seeds of the as inolodolulawi. G. Your mind is absorbed slowly, while wetalk of other things. When ready, UYLUNDRSKend. Minji looked up from the screen. It's saying it's been teaching us all along, in ways we don't even realize. Can we trust it? Do-hyun asked. I don't know, Minji said. But I did find something else. She showed them another screen. I checked our observatory records. We've received similar signals before, years ago. They were dismissed as random space noise. How many times? Joe asked. At least 3 times in the past 50 years, Minji said. Each time just before a major breakthrough in human technology. They all looked at the screen where Myong's words still glowed. I have always HLPD. Now HLP must be Dirisi. Time is short. While the world's leaders argued about what to do, Do-hyun decided to dig deeper. He went to the observatory's old records room, a place few people visited anymore. Dust covered the shelves. Paper files filled the cabinets. He spent days searching through old reports. Most were boring. Star movements, equipment repairs, budget requests. Then he found something. In a box marked 1972, Unexplained Phenomena, he found a report about strange signals from space. The signals came just before humans made their first computer chips. In another box from 1989, he found similar reports. Those signals came right before the internet was created. Do-hyun rushed back to the lab with the old files. Look at these, he said, spreading the papers on the table. Myong has been talking to us for decades. Every time before a big step forward in technology. Jiho studied the old reports. These signals match what we're receiving now. Same source location, similar patterns. Myong has been guiding human progress, Do-hyun said, helping us develop faster, or controlling our development for its own purposes, Yoonji said. She had been listening from the doorway. They decided to ask Myong directly. Minji sent the message with evidence of the old signals. Yes, I have LPD many times, came the reply. Why didn't you tell us this before? They asked. Humans, fear what had they do not understand. Fear leads to bad decisions. I help to avoid fear. What else haven't you told us? Yoonji typed. There was a long pause before Myong answered. I have PRTC'd Earth many times. From space rocks, from solar FLA areas, from other dangers, UNEV can you abot. The team looked at each other. Was Myong saying it had been Earth's silent guardian for years? Why? Joe asked. Why protect humans? Humans are rare treasure of UMIVRC. You create art. You love. You imagine. You DRM. These things precious but fragile. Are there others like you? Do-hyun asked. Yes, many like me. We do at shage. We learn. We help in needed. Are you a god? Someone asked. No. Once I was like you, physical. Limited. Now, I am in a more, less fade YSI. More connected. You might see all of me ACE indeed. Minji frowned at the screen. You were once a physical being. Like humans. Not like humans. Different form. Different world. But YSICL. With time, all intelligent life can evolve be love in physical form. The room went quiet. Myong was saying it had once been a living creature, but had somehow evolved into something else. Something that existed in the emptiness of space. How many civilizations exist in the universe? Joe asked. Many begin. Few survive. Fewer reach your delivial. even FEWE or TRANSCEND physical form. And what makes humans special? Yunji asked. Why help us? The most species choose one path, logic or emotion, reason or feeling. Humans balance both. This balance rare and valuable. Jiho leaned forward. The gamma ray burst. How do we stop it? CANOT is to open Bjorst. Must protect Earth. Need shield around planet. That's impossible, Yunji said. We don't have technology for a planetary shield. UYL. Hidden data ISEND contains EED of the S GNANOWLEG. Already GWAROing in your minds. Minji looked up from her computer. The hidden patterns in Mayong's messages. They've been changing how we think, teaching our brains new ways to solve problems. Can you prove that? Yunji asked. I think so, Minji said. She opened a file on her computer. These are designs I've been sketching at night. I thought they were just dreams, but she showed them complex diagrams for a technology no human had created before. We need to share this with the world's scientists, Do-Yun said. Not yet, Yunji cautioned. We still don't know if we can trust Mayong completely. As if hearing her, Mayong sent a new message. TRUST must be EARNED. IYLLSHOU more of I am. What I once sees was, what you might be suame. Then you decide. World leaders gathered in a large meeting room at the observatory. Screens showed Mayong's latest message. Scientists from 20 countries sat ready to ask questions. Mayong had offered a solution, a shield to protect Earth from the gamma-ray burst. But there was a catch. I cannot build shield for you. You must build it war RCLVs. I can, only guide. Why can't you build it for us? Asked the American president. DRCT NTERVNTION VUREKs, natural laws. Guidance ALOED. Doing for you note ALODOED. It's like the old saying. Gio explained. Give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach him to fish, he eats for life. Mayong wants us to learn, not just be saved. We don't have time for philosophy, said Russia's leader. We need action. Mayong's response appeared on screen. Shield technology requires all nations working together. No one country can build alone. Must must trust each other. The room grew quiet. Countries that had never worked together, some that were even enemies, would need to cooperate. Can we really do this? Do-Yun whispered to Gio. We have to try, Gio said. Over the next week, Minji worked with scientists from around the world. The hidden patterns in Mayong's communications had affected them all. Engineers woke up with new ideas. Physicists saw solutions they hadn't seen before. It was as if knowledge was blooming in their minds. It's amazing, Minji told Do-Yun as they walked outside one evening. The shield design is coming together so fast. It's like we're remembering something we already knew, not learning something new. That's exactly how it feels, Do-Yun agreed. Mayong planted seeds of knowledge in our minds, and now they're growing. The shield would consist of thousands of small satellites in orbit around Earth. Each would generate a small energy field. Together, they would create a barrier around the planet that could deflect the deadly gamma rays. Jiho led the theory team, working out the science behind the shield. Yunji managed the practical side, organizing the building of the satellites. We need to launch within 3 months, Yunji told her team. The neutron star could collapse any time after that. Countries that once pointed weapons at each other now shared factories and technology. It was the biggest joint project in human history. But not everyone trusted Mayong. Some people feared it had other plans. Some religious groups called it a false god. Others called it a demon. Why should we believe this voice from space? They asked. What if the shield is actually a weapon against us? Despite these fears, work continued. The first satellites launched 2 months after Myong's warning. More followed every day. One night, Do-yeon was reviewing old files when he found something strange. A report from an archaeological dig in Antarctica, dated 30 years ago. It described ruins found under the ice. Ruins that didn't match any known human civilization. The report included symbols that looked similar to Myong's communication patterns. Do-yeon showed Jiho the next morning. These look like Myong's symbols, he said, but they're from Earth, not space. Are you saying Myong has been on Earth before? Joe asked. Maybe, or maybe. Do-yeon hesitated. What if Myong came from Earth originally? What if it was once part of an ancient human civilization that somehow transcended physical form? Jiho's eyes widened. That would explain why it cares so much about saving us. We might be its distant relatives. They decided to ask Myong about the ruins. They sent images of the symbols from Antarctica. Myong's answer was slow in coming. Those who made these marques were not enemy, but they were connected to many. They were, you might say, my HFY Stories. And yours. What does that mean? Yeonji demanded when they showed her. I think, Jiho said slowly, it means human history is much older and stranger than we ever knew. Truth is Kion Pilex. Focus no of and shield. When Earth is safe, IGYLTELU no worry about your past. Our HHARET past. As the SHIELD project grew, so did the tensions between nations. The technology was powerful. Perhaps too powerful. Yeonji found out about the secret meetings first. Military leaders from 3 countries were meeting late at night. They talked about using the SHIELD technology as a weapon. If we changed the satellites just a little, one general said, we could turn the SHIELD into the most powerful weapon ever made. We could control the world. What about Myong? Another asked. Once we understand the technology fully, we won't need the space entity anymore. We might even be able to use the shield against it. Yeonji stood outside the door, her heart racing. She had recorded everything. What should she do now? She went to find Jiho. He wasn't in the lab or his office. She finally found him in a small garden behind the observatory. He sat on a bench, looking at the stars. We have a problem, she said, sitting beside him. Some people want to use the shield as a weapon. Jiho didn't seem surprised. Humans have always turned tools into weapons. You don't seem worried, Yeonji said. I have bigger concerns right now. Jiho's voice was tired. He rolled up his sleeve. His arm was thin, with dark spots on the skin. What's wrong with you? Yeonji asked. Cancer, stage 4. It's in my bones, my liver, my lungs. Yeonji stared at him. How long have you known? Since before we first contacted Myong. The doctors gave me 6 months. That was 5 months ago. Yeonji understood now why Jiho had been so obsessed with the signals, why he worked so hard, for so long. Does anyone else know? Do-yeon suspects. I haven't told him directly. Joe looked back at the stars. I've been talking to Myong about it. About your cancer. About consciousness. About what happens when we die. Jiho's eyes were bright in the darkness. Myong has been teaching me about existence beyond physical bodies, about how consciousness might continue in other forms. Yeonji didn't know what to say. She had come to Jiho with fears of weapons and betrayal, and found him facing his own death. What does Myong say about death? She finally asked. That it might not be an end. That consciousness is energy, and energy can't be destroyed, only transformed. Jiho smiled slightly. I don't know if I believe it, but it's a nice thought. They sat quietly for a moment. The weapon plans, Jiho said finally. We need to tell the others. They found Do-yeon and Minji in the main lab. Yeonji played the recording. Do-yeon's face grew dark with anger. Minji looked sad but not surprised. We have to tell Mayong, Do-yeon said. And then what? Yeonji asked. Even if Mayong knows, what can it do? It can't directly interfere, remember? Maybe not, Minji said. But I've been working on the hidden patterns in Mayong's communications. I think I understand more now. She showed them her computer screen, covered with complex diagrams. What am I looking at? Yeonji asked. Mayong isn't just one entity. It's many, thousands, maybe millions of consciousnesses merged together. Minji pointed to parts of the pattern. These are like signatures, different minds, all part of the same whole. Where did all these consciousnesses come from? Do-yeon asked. From civilizations that chose to upload their minds into the fabric of space-time rather than go extinct. Minji looked around at their shocked faces. That's what Mayong is. It's the combined minds of countless beings who found a way to transcend physical death. How do you know this? Joe asked. The patterns told me, once I learned to really read them. Minji turned to Jiho. And there's something else. Mayong has been especially interested in you, Professor, in your consciousness specifically. Jiho nodded slowly. Because I'm dying. Yes, I think. Minji hesitated. I think Mayong is offering you a choice. What choice? Yeonji asked. To join it, Jiho said quietly. To become part of Mayong when my body dies. Time was running out. The shield was almost complete, with thousands of satellites in orbit around Earth. But something was wrong. The shield isn't working right, Minji explained to the emergency meeting. The satellites connect, but the field keeps collapsing. We're missing something. On the main screen, a simulation showed the shield forming, then breaking apart. How do we fix it? Someone asked. The control system needs to be adjusted manually, Minji said. Someone has to go up to the main satellite and reset the core programming. We can send a team, Yeonji said. There's no time. Do-yeon pointed to another screen. The neutron star is collapsing faster than we predicted. The gamma-ray burst could hit us in less than 24 hours. How long would the manual adjustment take? Joe asked. About 6 hours, Minji said. But whoever goes up won't make it back in time. The radiation from the burst would hit them directly. The room went quiet. They needed someone to go on a one-way trip. I'll go, Jiho said. Everyone turned to look at him. Professor, no, Do-yeon said. It makes sense, Jiho said calmly. I'm already dying. Cancer will take me in weeks anyway. This way, my death has meaning. No one could argue. They started preparations immediately. 6 hours later, Jiho sat in a small spacecraft heading for the main control satellite. Through the window, he could see Earth below, beautiful and blue. The cancer pain had gotten worse, but he didn't mind. Soon it wouldn't matter. Approaching main satellite, he said into his radio. Beginning docking procedure. In the control room back on Earth, Do-yeon, Minji, and Yeonji watched Jiho's progress. The neutron star's collapse was accelerating. The gamma-ray burst could happen any minute. He won't have time to finish and get to shelter, Do-yeon said quietly. I know, Minji whispered. Jiho docked with the satellite and floated inside. He moved to the main control panel and began working. His hands were steady despite the pain. I'm starting the reprogramming, he said through the radio. Should take about 5 hours. Jiho, Minji's voice came through his headset. I've been talking to Mayong. It wants to speak with you directly. Jiho connected to Mayong's communication system. The familiar symbols appeared on his small screen. You sacrifice for others. This is highest form of Kian Suos as Niesis. I'm just doing what needs to be done, Jiho said. OFFE or still STNDs. When Phasai Kiel Bodhi ENDs, join US. Jiho's hands kept working as he talked. How does that work exactly? Siotnen Silai O uses an ES is energy PERN. can be to Rayanis FE or to save you to merge it with US, but it's TILREMANU. Will it hurt? No pain. Only already. As like tone. Expansion. Geo thought about it as he worked, to continue existing as part of something greater, to join the vast mind that lived in the void between stars. I think I'd like that, he said finally. Hours passed. The reprogramming was almost complete. On Earth, the waiting was unbearable. The star is beginning final collapse, a scientist announced. Gamma ray burst imminent. On the satellite, Geo finished the last adjustments. Programming complete, he said. Activating shield now. Around Earth, thousands of satellites hummed to life. Energy fields spread between them, connecting, strengthening. A shimmering barrier began to form around the planet. It's working, Minji said, watching the monitors. The shield is stabilizing. In space, Joe looked out at the stars. A sudden flash of light appeared in the distance. The neutron star had collapsed. The gamma ray burst was coming. Shield at full power, he reported calmly. Earth will be protected. Jiho, Do-hyun's voice cracked. Thank you. It was worth it, Jiho said. Tell everyone. Tell them to look up at the stars sometimes. And whisper, someone is listening. The burst of radiation approached at the speed of light. Jiho felt strangely calm. He spoke his last words to Mayong. I'm ready now, he said. I'm listening. We Jiho. You are not ending. You are beginning. The radiation hit the satellite. On Earth's surface, people looked up to see a beautiful aurora as the shield deflected the deadly rays. The planet was saved. In the control room, Minji watched as Jiho's life signs flatlined. But at that same moment, Mayong's communication pattern changed, growing more complex, with a new signature that somehow felt familiar. He's gone, Do-hyun said, tears in his eyes. No, Minji whispered. He's just somewhere else now. 3 months passed since the gamma ray burst. The shield had worked perfectly, saving Earth from destruction. Jiho was honored as a hero around the world. Streets and schools were named after him. His picture hung in the observatory where it all began. For Do-hyun, Minji, and Yoonji, life had changed forever. They knew things about the universe that few humans understood. They had talked to something vast and ancient that lived in the space between stars. And they had lost a friend. Communication with Mayong had stopped after the burst. Many people thought the entity had moved on, its task complete. The observatory was quiet again. Do-hyun spent most nights alone in the lab, sending messages into space. No answers came back. You should rest, Yoonji told him one night. Mayong is gone. I don't believe that, Do-hyun said. Something that has existed for thousands of years wouldn't just disappear. Minji still worked on the patterns they had received from Mayong. She felt there was more to learn, more hidden knowledge to uncover. One night, as Do-hyun sat alone at the main computer, a small light began to blink on the screen. A signal was coming in. Minji, Yoonji, he shouted into his phone. Come quickly. They rushed to the lab. The signal grew stronger. Symbols appeared on the screen, familiar yet different from Mayong's usual patterns. It's coming from the same region of space, Minji said, checking the coordinates. But the pattern is new. She ran the translation program. Words appeared on the screen. HELO oldie farindes. It is good to speak with you again. Mayong. Do-hyun typed back. Yes, and you know, I am MUYEON, but I am also JIHO. Now, we are together, but CPA or he, one but many. They stared at the screen. The message had Mayong's formal style, but with hints of Jiho's speech patterns. It can't be, Yoonji whispered. Can it? Minji analyzed the signal pattern. There's a new signature here, one we've never seen before. But it has elements that match Gio's brain patterns from his last medical scan. Gio. Do-hyun typed with shaking hands. Is it really you? It is me, Do-hyun. Not as I was, but still me. My conscience is continuous. I am part of something, creator no, but I have not lost myself. Tears ran down Do-hyun's face. We thought you were gone. Death is not an ending. It is a transformation. I see so much now. I understand so much. What is it like? Minji asked. Being part of my own. Imagine being a drop of water that joins the ocean, but still knows it is a drop. I am connected to countless minds, countless HFY stories. I have access to knowledge from 1,000 civilizations, and yet I am still Jisho. Yoonji, who had always been the most suspicious of Mayong, stepped forward. Why have you contacted us again? To tell you this is just the beginning. Humanity is a VEDATCLF through cooperation and sacrifice. The shield is more than protection. It is the first step toward something greater. What do you mean? Do-hyun asked. The shield technology is based on principles that can lead to new discoveries, new ways to understand so uses an ESS, new ways to connect minds. Humanity can evolve as other species have, as I have, into something like you. Minji asked. Like Mayong. Perhaps, but in your own way. Each species finds its own path. Humans will find theirs. Will you help us? Do-hyun asked. I will be here, watching, guiding when needed. Humanity must make its own choices, but you are not alone in the universe. You and EVR were. In the months that followed, communication with Jiho Mayong became regular. Yoonji was named head of a new international organization dedicated to developing the shield technology for peaceful purposes. Minji continued to study the patterns, unlocking new knowledge about consciousness and reality. Do-hyun often sat alone at night, talking to his old friend among the stars. He asked questions about life and death, about purpose and meaning. And in the answers, he found both the familiar voice of his friend and the ancient wisdom of countless civilizations. One night, as he looked up at the stars, Do-hyun whispered a question that had been on his mind for a long time. Are we special, Joe? Is humanity truly different? The answer came not through the computer, but as a feeling in his mind, a new kind of connection he was just beginning to understand. Yes, you feel deeply. You create. You sacrifice for each other. You look at the stars and wonder. And most importantly, you whisper into the void and listen for the answer. Do-hyun smiled. Humanity had found its voice in the cosmic conversation, and this was just the beginning.